Well, in terms of this one, Darren, you were talking about or you've been focused on the away form, but a real toughie with Shrewsbury have been going really well.
Yeah, they have. Since Steve's gone in there, they've done very, very well. It was a game against Sunderland last week, was their first defeat. They've obviously had quite a big gap between games because of the COVID situation. But yeah, I watched the game against Sunderland, and yeah, you can see why they're picking up points. They're organised, they're at it. Very, very physical team. So we're expecting a tough game.
And with Steve Cottrell, he must be delighted to have really hit the ground running. I know they've had issues with COVID over recent weeks, but to come into a club and to really find your form that quickly is great.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I hope he gets over the virus, because I know he was hospitalised for a period of time, so hopefully he's all right. But yeah, he's a very experienced manager at this level and higher levels. I think he's been a good appointment. And as you would expect, his teams are always well organised, always got lots of energy. We have to match that on Saturday, there's no doubt about it.
And another side that really seemed to have benefited from using the back three.
Yeah, they've played a settled formation, and to be honest, I know they've brought in one or two in the window. Brought in a lad from Man City this week. They've had a pretty consistent team, pretty settled team in certain areas. Certainly, Randell and Pierre and Williams have played, Norga and Vela in the middle of the park. So they've had quite a settled team, I feel.
Yeah, and presumably when you come up against a side with a back three, and we spoke about this the other day, given that right throughout your managerial career, it's a formation you've used, and of course you've used it a lot over the past year or so, you must feel very comfortable in that. You look at your players and you think, well, we're as good at doing this as anyone.
Yeah, I think we play the back three very well. I think there's different ways in how you want to play it, depending on the opposition. I mean, on Tuesday, Bristol played a 3-4-1-2, exactly could be what we're playing on Saturday. So we know where we can hurt teams, where teams could perhaps hurt us. In the wider areas, it makes it a little bit more easier in terms of it's a wing back against a wing back. So yeah, they're no different to any other opposition, but tactically, obviously, tactics come into play a large part in how we play, and we'll always have a different way of playing, and not necessarily have to play with a back three. So whatever personnel I do pick, we'll be able to go into another formation quite quickly.
Yeah, and from your point of view as well, to have moved Nathan into the centre of the back three and to have the real balance there that's worked so well, does that also aid the wing backs in that they can get forward with such confidence? And you always say that's a big part of getting it right, the further they can get up the field.
Yeah, the more comfortable we are at building the play up, and also at controlling the game in the deeper areas, means that our wing backs can get further up the pitch. I felt on Tuesday, and after the first 15 minutes, we didn't keep the ball for long enough, which means that your wing backs don't get up the pitch quick enough or high enough. We don't get as many crosses in as we would like. But certainly Nathan going into the middle, and also Mark being so good on the left, has really been a big bonus. Obviously we started with Mark in the middle because he did so well there. But when we were building up play, I think Nathan's more comfortable in doing it in the central area, and Mark's more comfortable on the left. So I always knew Mark could play there because he played there for Bolton, albeit in a different way. But I've been absolutely delighted with both of them. I have to say they've both done really, really well in those positions.
And with your wing backs in mind, is Joe Ward going to be ready for Saturday?
Yes, he'll be ready. So, I've got Ward and Canu and Burrows and Butler, so good competition there. And I've got good competition all over the pitch, really, now. Touchwood, everyone's fit. Ronnie, it's probably going to be too early for Ronnie. I think what we might do with Ronnie is give him an hour in the youth team. We did that with Flynn Clark just to keep the minutes up, because they'll be involved the following Tuesday at Tranmere. So for Ronnie, it's just a bit about getting minutes on the pitch. So perhaps in the youth team, it might be a better way of doing it for this weekend.
A chance to take that step forward. With Joe Ward, you've always said in the past that one of the big things for him is the self-belief, having confidence in his own ability. Have you seen him take steps forward in terms of that this season? Because when he has been involved, he's more often than not made a really big impact.
I think he's had a really good season, and he's fully justified a new contract. and I'm glad we've got it tied up. He was the one we wanted to get tied up because he was coming at the end of his contract, so we managed to time into him, which is good. He deserved it. His performances have been consistent. He's been good. He's been, at the time of his injury, he was top in the league for assists. The game he comes back, Milton Keynes, he makes the first goal. Unfortunately, he suffered a little injury. So it's important to get him back. There's no doubt he definitely gives us something different on that position.
A player as well who really benefited from his time in non-league, in that he really seems to be keen to work for absolutely everything.
Yeah, he's a great lad. Good attitude. Practices a lot. And the club bought him when I wasn't here. We bought him after he gave him the runaround in a cup match, I think, at Woking. So he's proved a very shrewd signing. And I think it was Joe, it is about self-belief and self-confidence, and perhaps it's taken him longer because he was maybe in and out a little bit, but now he's had a consistent run. He feels confident and he's in a good place. The boy's got a lot of self-belief now, which is really the key thing for Joe.
And obviously we've got the transfer deadline on Monday. For you guys, is it a case of nobody will come in unless someone goes out?
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to come in. I don't. And I actually, maybe one of the two of the younger lads, like the under 23 players, might go out just to get that experience. But I don't see any of the. If you ask me today, I don't see any of the fully established first team players going out. But of course, listen, it could change by Monday. But at the moment, nothing's happening. Yeah,
it's strange, isn't it, in that you feel obviously happy and comfortable and relaxed at this stage, but equally, it only takes one bid and things can change around, and you have that whole chain then of what you need to put into action. You think you're not going to need to do it, but equally you have to be ready just in case.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the obvious one was Sariki, and if anything was to happen, we made a bid for a player that was going to be the replacement. The player's now gone somewhere else. But for me, Sariki, if he goes, it'll be in the summer. And to be fair to the boy, in the last 4 performances, he's been very good. He was very good again on Tuesday.
With the National League seemingly getting a bit more settled in terms of finances, does that make it easier for some of the younger players as well? Because presumably you were thinking, well, will their season actually carry on?
Well, we sent young Sam Cartwright out to Oxford City and he played 3 or 4 games. And I know David Oldfield, the manager there, very well. So it was a good experience and he settled in really well. There was a possibility of 1 or 2 others going out. But now, obviously, it's been suspended. It's important for these young lads to get games. With young Archie out, Brad Rolt was out, but that tier was just completely cancelled. So I think it's key that the National League keeps running and maybe we get 1 or 2 out and get some experience for them because it's going to be important for these lads.
And with Serhat, you've been looking to get him out for any prospects there?
Not really. 1 or 2 phone calls. It can be quite frustrating, really, because you get a phone call and then he's mentioned and then you wait for a return call and it doesn't come sometimes because it can be quite frustrating, I'm surprised no one's taken him because we want to get him football, in League 2 because that's the next stage of his development. Because we feel there's a player in there. But, he might just be a slow burner, which is fine. He's got a long contract. But unfortunately, no one wants to do anything at the moment. He went to Salford, the understanding that they were going to take him and then something happened. So I wasn't pleased with that, but these things can happen.